How to Heal from Grief. Hello champion, I'm Dr. Meghana Dikshit, author of the book You Matter, and I'm so happy to welcome you to our channel. Here we explore the mind and brain, share success secrets, heal past wounds and prepare for a bright future. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And to our returning viewers, a warm welcome back. If you're ready to dive into the incredible world of brain potential, type dive in the chat box right now. What are the steps to healing grief? Grief is our natural response to loss. When something or someone we love is taken away from us, we feel the grief. It is an emotional suffering. In Shiv Puran, the story of God Shiv, there is the description of Mahadeva going through grief when he loses his dear wife Sati. Mahadeva is raked apart with loss, and the grief is so deep that he loses all sense of who he is and his place in the running of the universe. It is described that in a crazed frenzy, he roams directionless, cradling the dead body of Sati. This goes on until Lord Vishnu takes matter in his hands with his celestial Sudarshan Chakra, shreds Sati's body into 12 parts and flings those parts in different corners of our country. The book further narrates how Mahadeva goes to each of the places where Sati's body part rests and builds a Shakti Peeths, center of worship around it. Then he travels to the Amarnath cave and goes deep into meditation for 1,000 years. What does this story tell us? It tells us the journey Mahadeva took to heal from grief. Healing grief is a journey. I lost my mother in 2007. It took me 13 years to finally come out of the grief fully. In those 13 years, there were multiple times when I would be enjoying with my friends, family, or celebrating festivals, or even just sitting and working. And all of a sudden, the tears would well up in my eyes. It was my heart grieving for my mother. Every moment of celebration, of achievement, I would miss her physical presence. Loss can be anything. It need not be only a parent or a spouse. Loss can be of an opportunity, loss of a pet, loss of friendship, losing a job. Post-COVID, many people are feeling the loss of a way of living, safety. I had a participant in our program who had come to us to overcome the loss of her family home. She had very fond memories of growing up in that home and could not come to terms with it being sold off. The incident had happened 25 years back and she was still feeling the grief. So grief can be for any kind of loss. Each person will take their own time to overcome and heal from grief. I've already done one video on this channel on the grief, so please check if you need more information on stages of grief in that video. One of the most important things to first note here is that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. The loss is very personal and the grief that you feel is natural. So foremost, don't feel ashamed of your emotions, but understand that it is important to grieve and heal from grief. Grief, if not addressed and healed, can affect physical, mental, emotional health. It can impact relationships. I suffered from depression and PCOD post my mother's passing on. I harbored the guilt that me being a doctor could not save my mother's life. It also impacted my relationship with my husband and my son. Those years are a blur now. I was merely existing, and it took a toll on my health. When we lose something very dear to us, we feel that life can never be the same again. And you're right, life can never go back to being the same. But what can happen is that as you begin to heal, you will start to come to terms with your sorrow and begin to look into the future. My bestie lost her mother a couple of months back, and she was sharing with me that people coming over to pay condolences were constantly telling her to be strong, to move on, and some even advised her to cry. Grieving is a process and it differs from individual to individual. There are 5 stages of grief. Denial. It cannot happen to me. We are always ready to lend the shoulder to the other person who is going through their loss. But when it happens to us, we are bewildered. This can't be happening to me. Denial is the first stage. Second stage is anger. Why is this happening to me? After denial comes the anger. Why should I be going through this? For me, when I went through my loss, my anger was towards my mother. Many days I would be ranting in my mind. Why couldn't she have taken care of herself? I was telling her, she never listened, and see, now I have to go through this. What right she had to behave like this? My elder sisters got her the most. I didn't get her. My son didn't get to experience her. So on and so forth. This anger towards the person or the situation is natural. Third stage is bargaining. We are unable to bear the pain of the loss and we begin to bargain, most with the Almighty, with the God. The fourth stage is depression. The sadness sets in. It just comes and sits on the heart like a thick blanket, sometimes making us grasp for the breath. The sadness eats away into everything: joy, love, family time. And the fifth and the last stage is acceptance. This is coming to terms and finding the peace. Once we reach this stage, we are ready to move on. Each one of us goes through these 5 stages, whether we are aware or not. Each one of us will have our own time period to go through these 5 stages, and we ought to allow ourselves that space and time to be. It is very important. So next time you're going through any loss, or you have a near one going through any loss, observe these 5 stages. These 5 stages are not in chronological order, but sometimes they can be also mixed. Like I said before, for each individual it's different and very personal. So don't push people to heal and don't push people to move on. It's unfair. It's imperative that you take care of yourself and you also take care of the others. Here are some pointers to take care of yourself. First one, journal. I have found journal very powerful exercise. Post my mother's passing on, when I was totally lost, it took me few months to start writing what I was feeling. Daily I would write. It had a very cathartic effect on me. So you too can journal. Eventually, you start accepting your feelings and acknowledge them to yourself. Trying to avoid feelings of sadness and pain only prolongs the process of grieving. Today also, I do a lot of journaling. I write letters to my parents. They both are not here on the physical plane. But I do write letters, but only because I could get my grief going. I could now relate to them better in different realm, and I start writing letters to them as in when I feel that I need their help, I need to understand something, as if they are there. It helps me to feel that we never really lose our parents. They are right there inside your DNA. Their teaching, their values, everything that they have given you is right there. And you can still connect with those values. When we lose something or someone, we want to isolate ourselves. We don't want to connect with people because it's too painful to keep repeating or explaining the incident. But regularly meeting with friends and just sitting quietly with them also helps. If you feel like you can express. Spending time next to sea or nature, water has deep therapeutic effect on us humans. So one of the best ways to overcome loss is to go and stay by the sea. Just listening to the sea waves daily can speed up the process of healing. Now continue with your daily routine. If you are a regular in working out or were pursuing a hobby before the loss, continue. However much you want to stay in bed, continue with your routine. It will help you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Seek the support of a therapist or a counselor if it's too much to handle. Most of us try and do everything on our own. Know that not everyone is equipped to deal or handle loss and grief. So seeking professional help is the best. An experienced mentor can help you work through intense emotions and overcome obstacles to your grieving. Grieving is a journey, and each one to their own. Was this video helpful? Share it with all your friends and family and let them also benefit from it. If you want more help from me to deal with your grief, then there are 2 links in the caption. One is to register for my live seminar to train your brain to neuroplasticity and to achieve all your goals and come out of your grief. You can also purchase my book, You Matter, through the link and start your personal growth journey with me. Until then, next time.